My deep dive into the filmography of Ms. Lana Turner. Tonight was two Ross Hunter produced films. Ross Hunter did Imitation of Life with her and sort of reinvigorated her career and produced most of the wonderful candy-colored, Technicolor, crazy films from the late 50s, early 60s were probably Ross Hunter productions. You should look him up. These films were not in the right order, but because I was watching them live instead of normally when I watch it not live, I watch it in chronological order because that's how I roll. But I watched it in the order they were shown today. So it started with 1966's Madam X, which is based on a play and stars Lana Turner as a woman who marries a rich man who is on his way to being president. However, he kind of abandons her a little bit early in their marriage, post-baby, but still too early to really be abandoning your wife. So obviously she has an affair with their friend Ricardo Montalbán because, as we've established in Latin Lovers, Lana Turner and Ricardo Montalbán have great chemistry. However, when she decides to break up with him and make a go of it with her husband, played by John Forsythe, Ricardo accidentally falls down the stairs and dies. This is a melodrama. So she goes home and she's like, I don't know what to do, and stupidly tells her mother-in-law, played by Constance Bennett in her last film role, actually released posthumously, about this. And clearly mother-in-law has never been a fan of this like shop girl who's now in this rich family. So she's like, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay you to go away and commit and pretend that you're dead. And if you don't, I'm going to take your child from you. And you're like, well, she has no choice now. So then she goes down a path of terrible deeds and gets into seedier and seedier situations, waiting for her check to keep her afloat. 20 years goes by. Eventually, spoilers, she ends up back in New York and facing a murder trial, not for Ricardo Montalbán, but for somebody else who very deservedly should have been murdered. If not by her, someone was going to murder this guy. And in a stroke of what's it called? Coincidence that only happens in the movies, her court-appointed attorney is none other than her son on his first trial. He's played by Keir Dullea. The film oscillates all over the place. It has a wonderful melodramatic tone. I know a lot of people don't like melodrama, and they think they're smarter than it, or they're better if they don't enjoy sudsy, melodramatic, cake films. But I love melodrama. I love it when it's done well. I even love it when it's not done well, and it doesn't make you better to not like it or to like it. It just, you like what you like, and I like this kind of campy melodrama in my bones. Her gowns were done by Jean-Louis. They look amazing on her. She starts out very fancy, and then even in her less fancy times, she has a great wardrobe of scarves that she wears around her head throughout the film. Fantastic. And there's a beautiful score. I was going to say who was the score, by Frank Skinner, that I really enjoyed and really punches up the melodrama. This great performance. She really lets herself age with the makeup, which was apparently very hard for her. And I would imagine, she's 45 when she made this, and that's already over the hill in Hollywood terms. And she's already been working for 20 years at this point. If you remember her first film, she was 15. And then she ages and ages and ages and ages, and they put on crazy makeup on her. And she has a great, sad, tragic end, and it's just a fun, wonderful, sad, soapy film, and I cried, and I recommend it. It's lovely. And then the next film was actually the second Ross Hunter that she did after Imitation of Life. This is 1960's Portrait in Black, which was based on a play by Ivan Groff and Ben Roberts, who adapted it for the screen and later created Charlie's Angels, of all things. In it, Lana Turner plays Sheila Cabot, the second wife of a very rich, very curmudgeonly shipping magnate, I think is what he was, who's having, of course, what, an affair with his doctor, played by the one, the only Anthony Quinn. They also have quite great chemistry. Complicating things are her stepdaughter, played by Sandra Dee, her lover, played by John Saxon, Sandra Dee's lover, John Saxon, her husband's business partner, or lawyer, I couldn't really tell, played by Richard Basehart, the chauffeur, played by Ray Walston, and the maid, who was the first wife's maid, Anna May Wong, and her husband's secretary, played by Virginia Gray. It's like a who's who. You also get Lloyd Nolan is the husband. He is as curmudgeonly as you'd want him to be. So what happens is, obviously, they're having this affair, and they're like, maybe we could kill him. And, somehow he dies, and then they're trying to, not be suspicious, but then the Anthony Quinn character is like, you know what, I'm going to go to Switzerland after all, and then it will cool off a little bit, and then I'll call for you, but then people start suspecting because he's showing up too much, and Lana Turner doesn't appear to be grieving, and Richard Basehart is like, things are not right, and Sandra Dee is like, I don't think things are right, and everyone's like, I don't think things are right, and so they have to plot, basically, to murder everybody in order to stay together, and including the cat. They don't murder the cat, but the cat is clearly suspicious of them as well, played by a very chatty Siamese cat. And just shenanigans ensue, including forcing Lana Turner, who can't drive, to drive, and death, and mayhem, San Francisco city shots, some really racist music during the various Anna May Wong moments, some crazy, crazy monologues between Lana Turner and Anthony Quinn, one, when they're first together, and two, when things start to really fall apart, and they just lose it, and it's glorious. And a twist that I was not expecting. I actually was like, what? When it happened, so that was kind of wonderful. Also great hats, a really great sort of coat, similar to the one that Julianne Moore, Cate Blanchett wears in Carol. Some great scarves, pretty much everything you'd want, and some amazing nails on Sandra Dee. Just a good film. I enjoyed it. It's camp. It's melodrama. It is what it is. It was twisty and turny, and most of the logic didn't make any sense, and I don't even care, because I was entertained, and that's what films are here for. So this was an entertaining double feature. I really enjoyed it. I have 9 more Lana Turner movies to watch. I am going to try to watch them tomorrow. It might have to spread through a couple of days. We shall see how long it takes me, but I will watch them before the end of the year, because everything is Lana Turner and nothing